NCT's Renjun has shown Assassing that he doesn't have time for them and whatever they're doing. On April 7th, he received a message from Assassing who told him that it had become way too easy for idols to live. The Assassing went on a rant saying that idols make their earnings and date with the help of their looks while their live shows are garbage. They also said that idols nowadays are thoughtless and aren't as passionate as the previous generation of idols. While normally idols would ignore this message, Renjun decided to respond to it. He advised the Assassing to talk to his lawyer if they have anything to say and not to hide behind a screen. He also reminded them that idols are human and experience hardships, asking them if they were judging him based on his hectic schedule. He said, "If you chase your dreams hard, money will eventually follow. Are there any jobs in the world that don't make money?" Renjun urged them to live their lives properly and not to waste time. He recommended learning how to stay calm and not directing anger towards strangers. It's crazy how comfortable Assassings feel to just send messages like those to idols and not feel an ounce of shame. Babymonster's debut album is generating some very negative reactions, from accusations that the title track Sheesh sounds like a rejected Blackpink song to complaints that YG Entertainment refuses to change their sound. Their release wasn't received well at all. On April 3rd, music critic Carmen Chin wrote a review of the album on the music site NME, giving the album 2 out of 5 stars. The critic's main point is that the group were given a Blackpink song, as they said, Sheesh is nearly identical, from structure to the call-and-response rap verse to the rallying outro to many of Blackpink's hits in recent years that it feels almost uncanny. She also questioned why the company would turn Babymonster members into copies of Blackpink instead of doing something new and original with the resources they have. The critic also said that the mini-album was mostly compiled of songs that we have already heard. Batter Up and Stuck in the Middle were only re-recorded to include Ahyeon, and even though she thought Dream was boring, she at least appreciated that the song showcased the girls' vocals. The only song that the critic seems to like is Like That, which shows that the girls have a lot of potential and the it factor but are being held back by the company. The critic ends the article with the words, "If there's anything to take away from the release of Babymonster, it's that recycling years-old formulas is by no means a foolproof strategy." The article went viral on online forums in South Korea as screenshots of it were posted and translated by a netizen. Based on the comments under the post, everyone seems to agree with the review, sharing their own opinions on it. They wrote, "It would have been a relief if it was similar to Blackpink's, but it was even more old-fashioned than 21's. And it's just that YG's song quality is not as good as it used to be." Another one pointed out Blackpink also faced similar accusations of having the same direction as 21, but they managed to break out of their senior's shadow with the release As If It's Your Last. When it comes to Babymonster though, they're just doing what 21 did, now for the 3rd time. However, the negative reviews didn't stop YG Entertainment from bragging about the group's achievements, and this also caused quite a lot of turmoil online. On April 2nd, according to Spotify, Sheesh landed at 69th place on the daily top song global chart. It got around 1.76 million listens on its first day, marking the highest entry record for a K-pop girl group song this year. The song also reached 33rd place on Korea's top song chart. Aside from their achievement on Spotify, the group's mini-album quickly rose to the #1 spot on the iTunes Worldwide Album Chart as soon as it was released at midnight. The title track, along with other songs from the album, also scored well on China's QQ Music Rising Chart and Trend Index Chart. Moreover, the music video surpassed 40 million views on YouTube. That's not all though. On April 5th, it was announced that Babymonster had made impressive sales records, ranking as the 2nd highest for first-week album sales among girl groups. Their debut mini-album, Babymonster, is doing exceptionally well on the Hanteo album sales chart as it has sold 332,000 copies in the first week, trailing behind the record set by ILLIT Super Real Me. While this is more than impressive for the group, netizens are mad at the blatant media play that YG Entertainment is doing as they're painting Sheesh as the group's debut, which is not true at all. Initially, Batter Up was marketed as the group's debut, but it looks like since it didn't do well, YG and the group's fans are set on acting like Sheesh is actually Babymonster's debut. Before releasing Batter Up, YG announced that Ahyeon would be taking a break, so they knew ahead of time that Babymonster would debut as a 6-member group, which they were fine with. They promoted Batter Up as Babymonster's debut everywhere, even submitting it for awards as their debut. Yang Hyunsuk himself said Babymonster debuted with Batter Up and would continue with Ahyeon after her hiatus, not start all over again. During the Batter Up era, there wasn't any article or official statement saying the song was a pre-release or that Babymonster would debut as a group in 2024. But since the song didn't do all that well, Sheesh is now being presented by the agency as Babymonster's official debut, and Batter Up is being called a pre-release track just because Ayeon returned from her hiatus. A commenter said, "Embarrassing how they're trying to rewrite history. No, you can't pretend you never debuted." Another made a joke saying, "After 3 months, Babymonster's gonna come up with their 4th debut song. While it's important to acknowledge that the girls are doing well, it's dishonest for the fans and the company to act like this is their debut instead of a successful release." Speaking of successful debuts, K-pop fans are finding it hard to believe that ILLIT's achievements aren't fraudulent. According to the Hanteo chart, ILLIT has sold more than 380,000 copies of their debut album Super Real Me. They're also doing well on streaming platforms like Spotify, where they have over 1 million monthly listeners, and they have even set a new record for first-week streams with their debut album. Not only that, but the group achieved a remarkable feat by entering the US Billboard chart only 8 days after their debut. According to the most recent chart data released on April 2nd, Magnetic secured the 63rd spot on the Global 200 chart and the 33rd position on the Global, excluding the United States chart. This marks the highest debut ranking for a K-pop girl group on both charts. However, a lot of people think that HYBE has been paying for all of this. An alleged proof that fans have of this is something they noticed recently. According to some people, every time they play a random K-pop song, the next one that plays is a track from a HYBE group. Right now it's happening with ILLIT since they just debuted, but back when New Jeans had a comeback, it happened with them as well. Some users even alleged that they had blocked ILLIT on Spotify to avoid this, yet it kept happening. A Twitter user said, "This is how those HYBE girl groups get so many streams, and it's more effective than playlisting. The most fraudulent company in K-pop." However, fans of the group argued that it's unfair to start hate trains for the girls based on the fact that online users don't understand the way Spotify's algorithm works. As a fan explained, Spotify uses algorithms to suggest songs based on listeners' history, liked songs, and similar listeners' preferences. After a song ends, Spotify's autoplay automatically selects tracks predicted to match the listener's taste. This often results in popular songs or tracks by specific artists playing more frequently, so these recommendations rely on user data, not paid promotions. In fact, fans often use autoplay to share their favorite group's songs with a wider audience, even if the song isn't on their playlist. So generally, when ILLIT's song plays after another on Spotify, it's about personalizing the listening experience using AI and understanding user preferences, not pay-for-play practices by HYBE. Not only that, but even if Magnetic plays after every song, unless you play the song for more than 30 seconds, it won't count as a stream, so to argue that they collected all their streams through autoplay is pretty much a lie. Now, on to some surprising news. BoA has dropped hints that hinted at her retirement. BoA has been a big name in the industry for decades, and when questioned earlier, she expressed her desire to stay an artist for years to come. However, she recently posted a story on her Instagram in which she was wondering whether she should retire after her contract expires. Netizens were both concerned and sad at the news, especially knowing that BoA has been an artist for more than 20 years. Through those years, she has faced immense pressure and has worked hard despite it, which only convinced people that she deserves a break from it all. However, some people couldn't resist guessing why she would retire early, especially considering her strong love for performing. Netizens commented, "It seems like she's been through a lot since she was young. I hope she makes choices that she's comfortable with, and it's okay to take a break, isn't it? It's almost like she's been working for 40 years. Whatever the reason is, though, many have guessed that once she retires, that's probably going to be SM's downfall. With many legendary artists leaving, including 2 of the SHINee members, and BoA thinking about retiring, SM doesn't have many big names left. Going from a legendary company that many dreamed of working under to a label that everyone seems to be eager to leave is quite the tragic downfall that we never thought we would see. What matters is that BoA is happy with her decision and that she's healthy."